Alright, hello guys, this is Alan recording another comprehensive Magic the Gathering Arena Draft video. Today we will be diving into some more, actually, let's get started on some Throne of Eldraine. Kind of trick you with this video, I know some of you want me to maybe go back into Theros, but we already did 2 Theros video. Let's dive on to the set previous from Theros Beyond Death, which is, of course, Throne of Eldraine, this set. And to note, it was an easy transition from Throne of Eldraine to Theros Beyond Death, given that the colors still kind of retain their power levels. That being said, I think green could be slightly better than black in Throne of Eldraine, but black is still either first or second for the best color, as well as green. So, yeah, black-green mid-range, still good in Throne of Eldraine, and the best archetype, also the best archetype in Theros Beyond Death. And also to know, blue is still the worst color in this set, just like it was in Theros Beyond Death, so it was a pretty easy transition. Only difference is that I guess white is slightly weaker in this set compared to how it was in Theros Beyond Death, because white was close with in power level with green, I think, in Theros Beyond Death. Due to the fact that it was an excellent primary color that didn't mix too well with black, but still managed to be a fine color as your primary. And yeah, in this one, it's almost kind of similar in a sense, except white it definitely wants to be hyper aggressive, since it wants to be mostly the knights or adventurers archetype. But yeah, let's fire off a Throne of Eldraine draft. Kind of missed the set a bit along with Theros, so let's dive right on in. And I like how Arena is bringing back these old flashback drafts. It allows me to test my drafting skills, so I can recall what was in the set, and I think I have a pretty good idea of what to do. So let's begin. Right, Throne of Eldraine draft. Here we go. What do we have the pleasure of? Pack 1, pick 1. We have the pleasure of opening a nice rare. Mythic, I mean, although it's not really a payoff for the blue-red draw your card matters deck, but more of like an enabler. It's still a very good one, so it seems like a pretty fun first pick. Otherwise, looking at the uncommons, I think I still like Circara over Embereth Shieldbreaker, but Shieldbreaker is still really good since there's a lot of artifact creatures in this set. Best common in this pack overall is Fierce Witchstalker, and that's the reason why green could be one of the best colors. Is probably the best color in the set because you have powerful commons like Fierce Witchstalker, Outmuscle, Garenbreak Paladin, Mereleaf Rider, Rosethorn Acolyte at common. So green is pretty good, but I don't mind just taking a nice mythic here to start out our draft. I think it's pretty strong. If you are in blue-red, I could still abandon this, but it's a pretty nice place to start. So hopefully we end up drawing, getting the blue-red, which is a pretty fun archetype in my opinion, and maybe tier 2, but still pretty fun.
I appreciate clean victories.
But I never tried it with Royal Scions before. And easy clear Scorching Dragonfire to follow up with our blue-red plan. Otherwise, the best cards in this pack are like Inspiring Veteran, followed up by Bake into a Pie and Trapped in a Tower. Inspiring Veteran being passed to us is a signal that maybe red-white Boros aggro could be open, but it's still pick 2, so maybe the person from 2 seats away from us could be drafting white, and maybe the Knight's archetype isn't open, but still being passed to us is a sign that the person to our right doesn't want to play aggro. But he's also passing a Bake into a Pie, so you probably picked up a pretty strong rare. But that being said, I think Scorching Dragonfire is still very strong. Maybe slightly worse than Bake into a Pie, but still a very good removal spell, and it fits well with our very first pick. So hopefully the blue-red thing does happen, but if not, we still have red to a nice red common to back us up. But yeah, I think I would take Bake into Pie if this was pack 1, pick 1, but we'll take a Scorching Dragonfire here. Ooh, Red Cap Melee and a Black Lance Paragon. Wow, these 2 guards are really good. There's also Steel Gaze Griffin as a fine curve topper for the red-blue draw your cards matter deck. Here, I think we just take the Red Cap Melee. Man, the person to our right must be happy moving to black with the Bake into a Pie and now Black Lance Paragon, because this is definitely a very powerful card. It's best in a a very aggressive black Mardu Knights deck, but it's still pretty decent in the black controlling decks since it can always flash in itself, give itself Death Touch and Lifelink to trade. So I do like this outside of the Knights deck, but here Red Cap Melee is really good removal, but I need to make sure that I don't these do get worse than multiple because sometimes you're forced to sacrifice land. But in the late game, flood does happen, so you don't mind sacrificing land just to deal 4 damage at instant speed. Pretty good card, and also green seems fairly open, so someone to our right, the person to our left could be happy moving to like a nice black-red, green-black food stack. Here, I could just take a Bloodhaze Wolverine. Bertrand of the Veil can be fine. I mean, this is still a sign that blue-red is open, even though the best common in this pack is a Reef Soul. I'm not a big fan of black-red knights, and given that I just passed the Blacklands Paragon and Bacon to a Pie, there's a high chance that the person to our left could just end up in black, and if we take a black card now, we'll just end up getting cut off. There's also Ferocial Wilds as a green-red non-human payoff, but I like the Royal Scions. Let's kind of force the blue-red spells. I mean, blue-red draw your card matters archetype here and take this Bloodhaze Wolverine. There's a Queen of Ice as a fine blocker. I guess there's a Brimstone Trebuchet as the best common in this pack. Nothing really good in blue-red. I mean, I could just take, again, the Queen of Ice. I don't really think we're set up for a Knight's deck with the Brimstone Trebuchet, so I could just take an okay mediocre 3-drop here. It's a pretty fine card. You can help play defense for a while. Fine blocker. Don't mind a Queen of Ice if I do end up in blue-red. Ooh, now we're getting good signs. There's a Folio Fancies. I mean, this is a powerful win condition if we end up in the blue-black control deck, but I don't know if I want to play this outside of blue-black control. It's still really powerful, I guess, if we end up milling the opponent, but that is if they don't play out their whole entire hand. Could just take a Charm Sleep as a good removal spell, because I still want to be in blue-red, and I don't think Folio Fancies is good outside of in blue-red, since it kind of forces everyone to draw cards, etc. I mean, it does help you draw, and then you can mill the opponent. But I think Charm Sleep is still good. Let's just take it here. And there's other alternate win conditions in blue-red. Okay, I don't mind the Moonlit Scavengers as a top-end card. Merfolk Secret Keeper being passed as a sign that black-blue is open, but I still think we stick with blue-red since we're not really looking to mill the opponents. That's a late Soul Tiny. Okay. Well then, I don't really think I need a second Moonlit Scavengers. I could maybe incorporate Mill into my blue-red deck, and Soul Tiny can be a fine interaction spell. I guess I'll put in the sideboards for now. And that I do like Sakara in the blue-red deck, but although it only exile cards and doesn't cause card draw to happen, I still think it's a fine curve topper we could use. It's a fine 5-drop. It might not draw us. It might not have the draw card ability like the Thrill Possibility, but still seeing this late as a sign that red is open, and I'm quite happy just taking this Sakara. Now, could just take a Didn't Say Please, or a Quarter Monitor as an okay 2-drop blocker that we could use. Blue-red tends to be quite defensive. I don't really think we're going to black-blue. I mean, I guess if we do, I'll take a Didn't Say Please. Quarter Monitor is replaceable, but that's a late Steel Gaze Griffin, so we could just end up drafting blue-red anyways, even though blue-black seems more open to our right-hand side. And we have a pretty decent deck here. I'm quite happy with our start. Even the Quarter Monitor wield, okay. Pretty nice blocker if you want to play a more controlling version of the blue-red deck, which does happen. But I guess we can also transition to blue-black if black is open to our left-hand side. But given that we pass all those powerful black cards, I think the person to our left will be taking all the black cards from us. So I think we're just going to settle into a nice blue-red spells deck. Even a Runaway Together, pretty nice card, especially with creatures with good enter the battlefield abilities. Don't mind this as interaction. Ooh, Midnight Clock, okay, and a Charm Sleep. I don't mind Midnight Clocking, though, in the blue-red deck. I mean, since we tend to go through our library quite quickly, the Midnight Clock can basically act as a win condition by refueling us. Otherwise, Charm Sleep is fine. And blue is the worst color in this set, but it's still not impossible to make happen, especially if you have a nice color combination to go with it and you're drafting a controlling archetype. And blue-red can be pretty controlling, so I think I'll take a Midnight Clock. I already have a Charm Sleep. It's also decent mana rock. Ooh, Hypnotic Sprite versus Opportunistic Dragon. Has to be the dragon here. It's an alternate win condition, locks down their best artifact or their best humans, and there's plenty of them in the set. The Hypnotic Sprite is a pretty nice counterspell and a 2/1 flyer that I also like, but Game Pass and Opportunistic Dragon makes me quite happy, so I'll take it here. And Ember of Shieldbreaker, I do like that over Tome Raider. We don't really have any payoffs for blue-red, like there's no cards that reward us for drawing cards. besides the Steel Gaze Griffin. So I could just get away with this Ember of Shieldbreaker, to be honest. Tome Raider would be fine, but I could use a good 2-drop, and I've been pretty impressed by this card, to be honest. It would be a nice utility card, and then a 2-1. There's also Rampart Smasher being passed, so green-red also seems open to our left. But we'll take this for now. Don't think I need a second Queen of Ice. Guess I don't mind a Clockwork Servant in the late game, but it's also not. It's also I'd rather just have a decent 3-drop here. Take a Didn't Say Please in case we kind of want some mill to get going in the deck. Steel Gaze Griffin could sell for a second copy, and we can play I guess 17 lands. Otherwise, a Thrill of Possibility could be decent in this deck. We do have Opportunistic Dragon and a Steel Gaze Griffin already. And it's kind of expensive. Maybe we just settle for a Thrill. Thrill of Possibility seems pretty decent. But Blue-Black definitely seems open now with the turn into a story passed to us. Even a Soul Tiny that we can maybe end up playing. I do like Soul Tiny more than I do Frogify, so maybe we can incorporate some mill into this deck. Like blue-red control with a bit of mill in it. To power up these Soul Tinies. And then maybe we can win the game with flyers like the Opportunistic Dragon, the Steel Gaze Griffin. Didn't see any payoffs yet. I do want an Improbable Alliance in this deck, or at least a Mad Ratter on 4. But it seems like blue-black control is more open to our right-hand side, but it's just that I'm not seeing a lot of good black cards still being passed this late. Sir Eleonora, nice 5-drop. Might even replace Sir Kara, depends on what happens, but this is a pretty powerful card. So I'm just going to put the mill component over on this side because blue-red's not really looking to mill. It's really looking to just find the payoffs like Improbable Alliance and Mad Ratter on the 4, draw a bunch of cards, and then trigger those abilities. But we could again be a more controlling version with the So Tinies as kind of like pseudo removal, and then the Didn't Say Please to help put stuff into the graveyard. And another one being passed. Okay, I mean, I could also have taken the uncommon for the vault. But we can always get out of our way and just draft a blue-red tempo deck with a bit of control in it. Don't mind a second Thrill of Possibilities. I think it's better than a Queen of Ice in case we open up the Improbable Alliance and we need ways to draw cards. So I could use an extra opt or something. We don't really have too many ways to draw cards. So blue-black seems to be very open in this draft. But I still like the blue-red due to our first pick. Yeah, this is really powerful if you can get this early. How many good enter the battlefield effect abilities? I guess it's fine. Runaway is fine with the Ember of Shieldbreaker. Outside that, I guess we have a Queen of Ice to go along with it, so I probably don't need more than one copy of Runaway together, but it can be a fine interaction spell to dodge removal. And, Tome Raider? Yep, I do like Tome Raider in these blue-red decks. So hopefully we find our payoffs next pack. I mean, we've been cutting off blue-red quite exceptionally well, so it's a high possibility that we do end up with a payoff at least later on. But we could get unlucky, and it does happen. So let's get lucky here. And yeah, Magic Mirror is not a good card. Could just take a Nurse Kara, but we have a bunch of 5s already. But we also have a bunch of I guess I could just take a Bloodhaze Wolverine. But again, we don't have too many ways to enable it. Royal Scions, I guess the Tome Raider, Double Thrill. Don't think I need third Thrill of Possibilities, and we have a bunch of 5s already, so Unfortunately, I think we had to take the Bloodhaze Wolverine. I think pack 1, pick 1, I would take Sirkara here. Rampart Smasher is pretty good, but this is a pretty unexciting pack. Okie doke. Rimrock Knights, we're not really that hyper-aggressive of a deck, to be honest. So I think the Opt makes sense. That's a nice cantrip. Red-green does seem very open, though, but I don't think we're moving to red-green. So we'll just take an easy Opt here. Kind of stick ourselves into this blue-red control deck. But the late Tome Raider is a signal. Okay, well, this pack isn't amazing. I could just take another Opt. Witching Well is fine if I want an extra artifact in the deck. I mean, it's pretty hard to enable this Moonlit Scavengers with what we currently have. Don't think we need a second Thrill, a third Thrill, I mean. There's a Golden Egg, which is okay. I think I don't really like Unexplained Visions in this set. I think I'll just take an Opt. It's just too expensive. And some games can get very aggressive. Ooh, okay. Red Cat Melee is very good, but do we need 2 of them? I could use a Searing Barrage, perhaps, but Red Cat Melee is just cheaper, I think. Maybe we just do take the Red Cat Melee. Hopefully we don't end up having them in our opening hands, but having one in the late game can be pretty nice, since sacrificing a land isn't that big of a deal, and it's just a really cheap removal spell that can save us early on. That's an Emery. Emery's pretty good. How many artifacts do we have? Quarter Monitor we can play. I guess there's a Midnight Clock that we can fetch back. There's also Lucky Clover. But we don't have too much of an adventure deck going. I guess I could just take Emery anyways. I mean, she's pretty nice if you can, we can get an Egg or something later. I guess you can recast a Quarter Monitor and a Midnight Clock so we can set up a nice controlling. And it's pretty good in a controlling deck, of course. Covetous Urge is really good, but are we ever going to get to 4 mana to cast it? There's a Queen of Ice, which is fine. I guess there's a Signpost Scarecrow we can get back from Emery, which it doesn't seem very exciting. Don't think we're an Emery deck anyways. Guess we take a Moonlit Scavengers. Don't mind the second copy. And an easy Searing Barrage at the top end, that's pretty nice. Could go for triple Opt, don't hate it. And could go for triple Thrill of Possibilities, although I could use Mist for Turtle as a blocker on 4. It's not a very good card, but I guess we have a Mist for Turtle already. Maybe put a Thrill on the sideboard for now. Again, this could just be like a 17 land blue-red deck, I think. Don't think we're hyper aggressive enough for that. I guess I could just take a third Thrill of Possibilities. Why not? Again, Unexplained Vision is too expensive here. We have a bunch of stuff at 5 already, and then none of these cards I really want. Yeah, Emery doesn't seem amazing in this deck. There's just not enough artifacts for it. It would be a fine 2-drop, but I think we have to cut it. And I guess if we can cut a Moonlit Scavengers, given that we also don't have a lot of artifacts, and then I guess we can make like one more cut. Yeah, no respect for the Unexplained Visions, but I don't think it's that amazing either way. We have a bunch at 5 already. Guess I don't mind cutting a Thrill of Possibilities, since we could end up discarding too many lands and the Red Cat Melee can get worse. So maybe we just cut a Thrill of Possibilities, cut an Opt, and then our deck should be okay. Runaway Together can be okay interaction. I don't hate it. Queen of Ice can be a fine defensive body we can cast. The 5s look really good. I do like the 5s a lot. And maybe the win condition is to just win in the air with the Opportunistic Dragon. Royal Scions can be a fine win condition, just pumping out our creatures. Midnight Claw can help us win by refueling our deck. Steel K's Griffin, pretty nice. Sir Eleonora, Sir Kara. So we do have a decent amount of finishers in this deck already. We could be lacking ways to trigger the Bloodhaze Wolverine, so maybe the Bloodhaze Wolverine isn't that good in this deck. A 2-1 isn't amazing, but it could be fine. Let's see. 11 creatures, 12 non-creatures. Corridor Monitor can be an okay blocker, but it's also pretty cuttable, to be honest, given that we have a decent number of interaction already in this deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 interaction spells, plus 7, maybe Moonlight Scavengers can get something to bounce. But that is only if we have Quarter Monitor and Midnight Clock here. But I can maybe cut it for a So Tiny, although So Tiny is not good unless I can mill the opponent. So do we just take another Runaway Together, perhaps? Or maybe it's fine keeping the Quarter Monitor. I'm not too high on it, like, it's not that amazing. Maybe we can just still ditch it here and just throw in another one Runaway Together, perhaps. Because Runaway Together can be fine with, like, the Tome Raider, to be honest. And it's good to have a way to, like, kind of tempo the opponent out, in a sense. So, alright, I mean, the Moonlight Scavengers also gets a little bit worse since we don't have a lot of artifacts or enchantments. I guess we do have a Charm Sleep still in Midnight Clock. 6 mana 4/5 isn't great unless it can maybe bounce something, so I could consider cutting that too. In that case, what do we want in the deck? Again, I don't really like any of these cards. Maybe I can just fit in another Opt, perhaps, but I do want to have a top-end creature, to be honest, just to have something that can block pretty nicely. Huh. I don't know, I could just cut the Runaway. I mean, it could be a way to save our creatures, because we might need them to kind of win the game, so to speak. And also bounces a opponent's creature back. So yeah, it does set them back pretty nicely. So I don't know if we need the Moonlit Scavengers still. I mean, if we do cut the Moonlit Scavengers, we do have a couple of evasive threats that can get in there. But if I cut it, what do I put in an Opt? A Quarter Monitor? Huh. We'll just try this deck out. Yeah, we'll keep it even split, slightly favoring. I think we're slightly favoring red to do all these double red cards. We do have double blue cards as well, but I think we have some more red in the early game that we might need. It's kind of close. I don't really want to cut a land given that I'm playing double Thrill of Possibilities, so we could need some way to kind of loot, so to speak. I mean, yeah, we need the extra land to loot away. And triple Thrill might just be too much. I could also just cut a Thrill for an Opt, perhaps. Could just cut the Runaway Togethers. I mean, it's not all that amazing. Or I can just cut one and throw in the Quarter Monitor. Like, we don't really have too much good ground blockers to play defense besides a Queen of Ice. That, yeah, maybe we have to cut a Runaway Together and throw in the Quarter Monitor, unfortunately. And this does make our Moonlit Scavengers a little bit better. And then... yeah, I don't know if we want to favor red or blue. I guess the Opt we might want to favor a little bit higher. It's pretty hard to know what to favor with this type of deck. I mean, we do have Bloodhaze Wolverine we do want to maybe cast on too, so maybe I favor the mountains slightly higher, and we can try something like this. Yeah, maybe it's just a tempo Izzet deck, or Izzet control. Seems fair enough. We'll try this deck out. Right, Midnight Clock on 3 is not bad. I don't hate it, especially if we can get going right away. But we do need double red. Huh. I think I'll risk it here. I mean, Sir Eleanor on 5 is also not bad. And this Midnight Clock can basically essentially win the game if we manage to get to 12. Mulligans down a card. Hopefully he's not like an aggressive White Knights deck. Said too soon. Okay. At least we got our first mountain that maybe we can cast our Opportunistic Dragon to take out a creature here. Next turn we can play the Midnight Clock, start gaining value with it. Maybe we can play our 5-drop afterwards. So white-black Knights, definitely a thing. Luckily there's no counterspell, now we can just start leveraging this clock. Maybe we can play out Circara next turn or the Steelgaze Griffin, depending on what he plays. That is a nice, fine knight, but I guess I can steal it, given that's a human. The only issue, however, is that you could have a removal spell that can be kind of bad. So I guess I'll play Sir Eleanor first, since it costs 2 more to destroy, and it can hit pretty hard, so I guess I'll start out with the Sir Eleanor. And then this can be a pretty nice giant ground creature that can hold off both of these creatures. Here. Sir Comrade, okay. So, I could steal it. Huh. So now what? I could offer an attack and a trade and steal it, or I could steal it first and then attack. With the Opportunistic Dragon, how much mana do I have? Open 6. So I could Queen of Ice, tap down one of their creatures, steal the 5/4, and then get in there. That doesn't seem like a bad plan. So I guess we want to Dragon first, perhaps, and then play out land, and then then tap here. I mean, I guess this will result in a trade, so maybe I'd have to, unfortunately, get in for 4 only. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I do want to attack him for 7, but this can double block the 4/4, so I think this is fine. And I do kind of want to dump my hand quickly here, due to the fact that this clock will eventually get to 12. Okay, so now we have some interesting decisions. There's a Searing Barrage. I do want to attack for 4 in the air. I do have access to 6 mana open. I could also just be mana efficient, play out the Queen of Ice, use a Royal Scions. Yeah, that's not bad. I don't hate that. And then I can minus, I think. Oh, I can just give this +2/+0. Or I could give the 4/4 +2/+0, but I do want a ground blocker. But getting in for 6 in the air is really nice. Okay, so opponent doesn't have any removal, so we're definitely in a very good spot. Red Cap melee, that's not bad. So I guess I can just play out the Steelgaze Griffin, keep up Red Cap melee. But unfortunately, I do have to sacrifice a land, but that can be okay. I guess I can sacrifice a blue. So I guess we'll just play out the Steelgaze Griffin here. And get in for 6.
Every attack.
Yeah, I think we got this. I don't really see the opponent coming back from this. Yeah, I guess we just take out the Barrow Witches now. Before it gains a counter. Don't think he can win this. Yeah. Yeah, I'll just let it resolve. We can just win the air.
Fear triumphs this day.
The Bloodhaze Wolverines don't seem very good in this deck, unfortunately. But Runaway Together can be also pretty awkward in this deck. I mean, it's still a fine turn 2 play. I just don't see it that being super amazing in this type of deck, given that we don't have a lot of ways to enable it. So it could actually cut one off, I think, and maybe throw in an Opt, perhaps. Like, if we're going to be controlling, we don't really care about having too many 1 toughness creatures as ground blockers in the early game. And overall, it didn't seem very impressive with it in our hand. So maybe it's fine just cutting a quarter monitor and throwing in the extra Opt here to help improve our draw steps, perhaps. I mean, I could just ditch the Opt maybe, and then we can go triple Thrill of possibilities since it can dig us a little bit more deeper. And then we can also use that instant speed on the opponent's turn. The Bloodhaze Wolverine is a fine 2-drop though, but again, we don't really have too many ways to enable it. I think the win conditions again is just a midnight clock and then a bunch of these late game flyers, and then we can try to kind of clear a path, I guess, and remove the opponent's stuff. Runaway Together can be awkward since we're running low on creatures and we might not be able to utilize this. I could also just play a Misford River Turtle, as weird as it seems. Doesn't seem very good though. Seems quite bad. Huh. Maybe 1 copy of So Tiny isn't as bad as I think it is in this type of deck. Because we are just trying to be controlling, so maybe I can just toss in 1 copy of So Tiny in this deck. And that can be a way to maybe shrink a creature down in case it's being annoying to us. So they need 7 cards in their graveyard until it gets -6/-0. Yeah, maybe 1 Bloodhaze Wolverine is okay. I could also just cut the second Runaway Together. But it's also pretty decent. Yeah, we'll keep trying this, and now we're favoring blue slightly, so I can just maybe ditch a mountain, put in an island, and then we'll just see how if this deck will overperform again. That last opponent didn't give us too much of a fight. He didn't really have that much removal, so I don't really consider that first game like anything too challenging, in my opinion. Alright, we can opt Tome Raider. I think it's okay. Don't think we need another island. We'll just bottom it, draw a card. Guess the Bloodhaze Wolverines won't be amazing now, given the fact that ooh, I do like myself a Scorching Dragonfire though, so I'm gonna keep that on top. Here I think I'm fine playing out the Tome Raider. I could keep up Scorching Dragonfire in case he has a second 7 dwarves, but we can always hold on to it. I just want to cantrip here and kind of dig deeper towards the deck. So another blue-red deck. I guess I don't mind the quarter monitor here. Just as a fine ground blocker, we can keep up the Scorching Dragonfire. Don't really see a reason to playing the Opportunistic Dragon. He could have like a removal spell here. You could have a counter spell, which I'm fine with. Okay. I could Scorching Dragonfire to prevent 2 damage here. Or I can just take it. You could have a better target for me to take out. Like a Brimstone Trebuchet. Yeah, I guess I can steal the Brimstone Trebuchet with the Opportunistic Dragon. So I guess I'm fine just Scorching Dragon firing this 2/2. And I can attack him for 1 here. And hopefully he doesn't have removal for the dragon. Probably has removal here. Alright. Guess I'll have the Searing Barrage here. Keep land in hand in case I pick up a Thrill of Possibilities. Guess I could just run a second copy of So Tiny. Like, it's really like the Bloodhaze Wolverine doesn't seem really good in our deck. I guess this is a pretty neat combo. Actually, let's attack first. Don't know why the auto tapper is like that. Guess I could play out the Bloodhaze Wolverine first, since it will get first strike with the Tome Raider next turn. Maybe we can hit a little bit harder. But Sarkara is just going to generate card advantage for him, so I probably need to maybe find a way to bounce up the Moonlit Scavengers eventually. Ooh, Royal Scions. I do like the Royal Scions. Royal Scions is very good. I think I do it. But maybe we play out Tome Raider first. And I can tap the Sarkara next turn. I could have tapped more efficiently, but I was planning to do this anyways. I don't think I need to loot. I think I just want to get in a pretty large hit here.
And a bit of style doesn't hurt.
And if he wants to keep Sarkara back to pick my 1-drops, then it's fine. Do I want to chump with the Tome Raider? Might not be necessary. I mean, chumping with it isn't bad since I'm playing to Charm Sleep it anyways next turn. I do lose out my flyer, but maybe if I can ultimate with the Royal Scions, I can get there. Opponent of his own opposing Tome Raider, okay. He moves to second main. Okay. Could just plus here. But, yeah, I don't really want to give first strike. I think it's more important to plus, to maybe dig for something. Maybe forcing us to tap Sarkara on our Bloodhaze Wolverine.
My plan is crystallizing.
And we have our opposing Sarkara to cast next turn. It's fine, we'll just Charm Sleep the 3/3 and hopefully he doesn't have a counter spell. And then we'll keep our 1/1 back to block the other 1/1. Right, and hopefully we can ultimate the Royal Scions eventually and we can help close out the game. But I'm definitely not attacking here, going to stay back so he doesn't attack our Royal Scions. And we have a Moonlit Scavengers to help bounce as well. Okay, that's fine. Ogre Errant, we can always bounce back. Right, let's just plus.
A quest of mystery.
I guess we can only put this up as a blocker. I guess we have the Charm Sleep, so never mind. We can bounce back the Ogre Errant. Put him behind on tempo and then say go. And then the Circara next turn can maybe ping off the 1/1. Opponent has 11 life, so I have to keep that in mind. Shambling Suit, not anything I'm too afraid of, but he's just kind of curving out here, I think. So tiny, not bad. So I could plus here and attack, but maybe it's just better to play defense for now and play out Circara and ping the 1/1 eventually. Yeah, I think looting is more important just to find better playable. I could use the Queen of Ice to tap the 3/4, but I think Circara is just more mana efficient here. And then we can stay back with the So Tiny in case he has a combat trick. Doesn't have a lot of stuff in his graveyard, but this is still okay. Cauldron, okay, that's a good reason to have the bounce trick here. It's probably going to main phase this onto Circara, but this will shrink the 3/3. I can block the 3/4 and then use So Tiny on the 3/3. Okay, sure. Guess I don't mind eating his 3/4, So Tinying the 3/3. Could block the 1/3, but it's going to be negated anyways with the Cauldron use, so I'm fine if he wants to stack the Cauldron to finish off the Moonlit Scavengers. This will shrink down the Shambling Suit anyways, so he only has 1 power in the air for now.
Let us plan for the trials ahead.
And now the Midnight Clock is quite nice, and then we can also just tap down the Tome Raider for a turn. Another Cauldron, okay.
My answers lie in the cold truth.
Alright, next turn we'll have a nice flyer to block the opposing flyers.
You have the heart of a coward.
Could just attack for Sir Eleonora, because I don't plan on actually looting with this hand.
Let us plan for
Although
the trials ahead.
I already did. Yeah, let's ditch the Ember Shieldbreaker. Play the Steelgaze Griffin out. That was a bit of a misplay. Should have plus Sir Eleonora. But it's fine, we have the midnight clock as a win condition. Alright, yeah, I don't think the opponent thinks he can win this. Sweet, yeah. Managed to get there. 2-0. Planeswalker is definitely incredibly powerful. I really do not like the Bloodhaze Wolverine. Like, it's actually not really good in this deck, so I could actually throw in a second So Tiny. Even though we will be light on creatures, it's okay. We can just, hopefully just keep locking them down with our removal spells, and then, eventually get there with our large creatures and flyers, hopefully. And then the Midnight Clock can maybe help me get there. Emery can be pretty interesting, but again, we don't have too many artifacts. I don't know. Yeah, the Bloodhaze Wolverine just doesn't seem very good in this deck. But, I mean, it did get in a couple points of damage, so maybe it's still fine just having one So Tiny in the deck still. I could consider cutting the Runaway together for the second So Tiny. Alright, well, we claim our third victim, we'll see. Opening hand, we do have an off to Midnight Clock and Royal Scions, seems pretty good. Alright, blue drafters. Not something you typically see in this set, but it does happen. Don't think we're saving the ops. We'll just get them back with a Midnight Clock anyways. I think we already have our double mountain already. And we're flooding out, so I'm happy that we're actually bottoming these lands. Now the question is, what do we play? If we can play the Midnight Clock, we can start gaining counters. If we play the Royal Scions, we can keep keep the loyalty high and start discarding and looting. Huh. Or I can just play the Midnight Clock and we can ramp out into Surkara and then eventually bring out the Royal Scions. Maybe that's just better. I want to keep this going. I want to start this right away so I can essentially get there. Now, do I play out Surkara? Probably. He probably has a counter spell. I do expect like a didn't say please here. So do I want to play out the Royal Scions instead? Probably not. Or I probably do. Like, I'll get back eventually. And I do kind of need to loot away this garbage that's in my hand, so... Yep. And then we can play Surkara next turn, since maybe that's more valuable. I'll get all my stuff back, unless he has Return to Nature. Opponent cannot play defense forever, of course. opponent's thinking really hard here. So hopefully there's just no return to nature. We're halfway through the midnight clock. We'll eventually refuel our hand and get back our removal spells to eventually deal with this Thunderous Snapper. But we have to take 4, unfortunately, due to the fact that we were flooding. Sure, I guess we won't be generating card advantage with this tap. So do we just activate the midnight clock? Hopefully we don't keep drawing lands. And we keep drawing lands. Guess we're just going to activate the midnight clock end of turn. And we can also tap this to add blue too to activate. Alright, at least I can tap something down. I can main phase Sakura or keep her back. I don't mind main phasing Sakura, just need to dig. Hopefully we can find a removal spell. There we go, that's a pretty good one. And then we can play out the land, which is pretty nice. Tap down the 3/3, take 2, and then say go. And then hopefully we don't have to keep drawing all these lands. Main is doing it on his upkeep. I don't understand that. I guess... yeah, I guess we're going to have a long match, essentially. But at least I can shuffle back these removal spells, get them back, and then recast them. But Midnight Clock is going to go off, and I'm gonna get everything back. And this hand is pretty bad anyways. Wow, even got back the Searing Barrage. And also the Opportunistic Dragon, that's quite nice. So now what? I can play out the Steel Gaze Griffin. I can Searing Barrage, I can attack in for 3. Lots of options. Dragon onto the Witching Well isn't bad. Dragon onto the Queen of Ice also isn't bad. But if I Searing Barrage, I guess I'll only have 3 mana open. Guess we can always tap Sakura. And get even more cards. And help thin out the deck. I'll be taking 3 in the air though, that's kind of bad. Maybe I do Searing Barrage to 3/3 while he's tapped. And I guess my opposing Queen of Ice can block off his, so that doesn't seem bad. Ooh, Royal Scions? Okay, I guess I like the Royal Scions. I don't really want to exile them, so... Alright, he had a Mystical Dispute, sure. Fierce Witchstalker, okay. Need to find a way to lock that down, perhaps. But I definitely can't attack past it. So now what? So I guess I can Sir Eleonora and then play out the Opportunistic Dragon and lock down the Witching Well. Otherwise, I guess I can always ping him first to see what's on top of the library. Alright, land. So now what we can do is we can Opportunistic Dragon, steal the Witching Well, I guess. But let's Eleonora first, perhaps. Ember of Shieldbreaker. Ember Shieldbreaker can take out the Witching Well instead. But he's probably going to sacrifice the next turn anyways. So I don't mind just taking the Queen of Ice, perhaps. Let's just Dragon here and hopefully he doesn't have a counter spell. I guess it's fine. Yeah, I guess I'll take the Queen of Ice since I do have the Ember of Shieldbreaker to answer it anyways, and I don't really want him to attack me if he kills my Opportunistic Dragon next turn. That's fine. I can just block with a 7/4 and maybe hope for a trade. And even if he has a pump spell, 3 power is a lot, so I think I'm just gonna block with the Sir Eleonora. Trade is fine. Hopefully we can shoot down that Witching Well. But that is another Fierce Witch Stalker, so I guess he's just gonna main phase it anyways, sure. So now what? Ooh, Moonlit Scavenger's not bad. We don't really have an artifact on the battlefield though, so that's the only problem. Maybe it's fine for me to just Surkara his face. Play out the land. We can attack for 2 in the air. Guess I don't mind just Ember of Shield Breaking shooting down the food as well. Let me opt into something first. Hopefully we can find something good. Thrill? Huh. How much mana do I have open? 8, 9. Huh, this is interesting. I think we need the Thrill maybe to help prevent Flood. So now I could bounce the... I guess I can't bounce the Witch Stalker, so I guess I might as well just play out the Queen of Ice. Or Tome Raider. Tome Raider seems fine. Red Cap Melee, that's a good one. I'll just kill it now. And then we can Shield Breaker, I guess, the food. Then play out... yeah, we'll play out the Ember of Shieldbreaker and the Bloodhaze Wolverine, I guess. Cauldron, okay. I guess that's going to kill off my dragon and unleash the Queen of Ice. That's fine. It did its purpose. Just getting rid of this Queen of Ice, or he's just going to get more greedy and draw more cards. Opponent's deciding what he wants to destroy. Probably Surkara, because that's going to give me card advantage. Because he's just going to play out Vantress Gargoyle. Can it block? I guess it can still block. So I'm not out of the woodworks yet. So I guess we want to opt main phase. So Tiny isn't bad. So Tiny's pretty good. Yeah, let's just keep the So Tiny on top. And he has a bunch of stuff in his graveyard already. He's most likely going to block Surkara anyway, so I think I'll ping him in the face. And then I can Steel Gaze Griffin, or I can Thrill here. I can Thrill. Thrill is fine. I need to make sure I don't end up decking myself. I do have 10 cards left in the deck. Let's attack. Don't know why I attacked the Opportunistic Dragon. I can allow first strike to happen first. This is quite nice. And then I can play out the Steel Gaze Griffin. Don't understand why the opponent is playing all this card draw in the blue-green mid-range deck. I think one card draw spell is enough, but having too much can be a detriment. Sure. Play all the So Tinies. Ooh, that's a scary card. Guess I don't mind a Charm Sleep here. Yeah, I guess I'll Charm Sleep the Fairy, and then I'll use the Moonlit Scavengers to bounce the 4/4. Force him to replay it and get in a nice hit. Yeah, but Midnight Clock definitely getting the job done in this deck. Doing a lot of work in that hand in that game where we were just flooding. We managed to in this game where we're flooding, we managed to put up a nice comeback. But triple unexplained visions, I don't really agree with that game plan unless you're hyper controlling. So if you're like in a blue-black mill deck, maybe one or two copies can be okay. But blue-green is not really looking to draw all that many cards. It's really looking to just ramp into big creatures. Guess it's lethal anyways. He can chump here. Yeah, he's forced to take 2. So we're in good shape. Keep playing. Okay, Midnight Clock, opening hand, always seems good. Opponent's on the play though, so... Alright, maybe a black-green foods deck. Always nice to have Bloodhaze Wolverine into Tome Raider to get in a decent attack. But I think we'll Midnight Clock into Opt instead. Do I want to Tome Raider here? We'll just Midnight Clock into Opt. It seems like the most reasonable course of action. And then we have, I think I'll keep a Scorching Dragonfire for sure. And then I can start unloading my hand, so I can eventually get all my stuff back from the graveyard. Beanstalk, so he's looking to ramp. Sure. Next turn, Sir Eleonora can draw me a card and I can get in for 3 again. Do I want to Sir Eleonora? I could also Tome Raider and keep up Scorching Dragonfire, but if he has a Pump Trick, that's fine. We just want to keep the beat down coming. And Bloodhaze Wolverine is definitely curving out nicely in this type of deck. So I could consider cutting, I guess, the monitor for a second Bloodhaze Wolverine. He needs extra mana to kill this since it costs 2 or more. I guess that's going to spend up his whole entire turn, sure. Do I want the Tome Raider here just to get the extra damage? I could also just play out Circara. Like, I'm bottlenecked at red mana, so I think it's more important to just get out Circara ASAP. So I can start leveraging this card advantage. And I'll play out the lands here. He'll eventually play out the Beanstalk Giant. So I do need to find my Capture Sphere for it, or the Sleep Paralysis. I guess he has a Fight spell and Outmuscle here. Yeah. And I guess I'll be taking 4. That's fine. He had the 2-for-1 himself. I guess he still gets to play the Garenbreak Carver, so not necessarily a 2-for-1. And I'll eventually get back my Circara anyway, since the Midnight Clock is almost ready. That's a scary card. Okie doke. I think I need my red more than my blue. And then I guess I don't mind just casting Runaway together, bouncing both of these back. To buy myself some time. I guess I don't mind Ember Shield breaking the Golden Egg. Getting in for 3. And then eventually the Midnight Clock will be complete, and then I can get all my cards back. I'm definitely going to kill that Savvy Hunter. He's being a little bit greedy here, ramping. I think the right course of action is to actually just play the Beanstalker Giant. But at least he's giving me more time, which I'm quite happy with. Hopefully no pump tricks. Okay, yeah, the pump trick. Alright. At least that ate the pump trick. And then, well, at least got rid of his food as well. So now I can attack in for 1. And then I could also just activate the Midnight Clock. But it's just going to activate on my upkeep anyways. Alright, need to deal with that. Hopefully Charm Sleep off the top. Don't know if this is necessary. But the Opportunistic Dragon locking down the Savvy Hunter is quite nice. I could also just so tiny the 9/9, but I think I'm going to tap it down with the Queen of Ice. Ooh, Charm Sleep, never mind. Let's yeah, let's have some fun. All right. Yeah, definitely sealing the deal. Blue-red control. Midnight Clock is a bomb if you can get it to happen. so it's always good to keep in your early opening hands. So 4-0, definitely doing really nice in this draft. Just a couple more wins and we're gonna get our 7. But we overall we don't really have our. This is not the typical blue-red. Blue-red is a deck where it's trying to leverage all the card draw synergy. We're mostly just trying to outvalue the opponent with the Midnight Clocks, the Royal Scions, and then Surkara as card draw in this deck. Even the powerful black-green foods deck couldn't outvalue our Midnight Clock. And the opponent did seem to have a very good deck. With the Savvy Hunters, the Beanstalk Giant, the Epic Downfalls, all of that. Even the Fierce Witch Stalkers, I think I saw one. Actually, he didn't have a Fierce Witch Stalker. Right, Opt, Tome, Thriller Possibility seems nice. I do need double blue and double red. So hopefully I don't end up just discarding them away. I could just use the land to discard. I mean, it's not really a bad idea. But you usually end up bombing lands anyways. Yeah, we'll bomb the land. I mean, opting just to do that doesn't seem really nice. Okay, I guess we're fine ditching away an island, since we don't need 3 islands. Alright, still building up a nice board. I could just put the Tome Raider in front of this, although the runaway together with Tome Raider is quite nice, just to give me the extra card draw. It really depends if he has any effects, but I think the block is correct, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the block is good. Okay, that oops, sure, I'll take the oops. Emote, Quarter Martyr, don't think I need it. Does seem kind of underwhelming at this point. Play out the Queen of Ice. Could have a Scorching Dragonfire end of turn. Yeah. Lock Dragon? Ooh, that's a scary card. I guess we need to kill that ASAP. Otherwise he's just gonna loot a million times and kill us, so we have to kill that. So opponent could just be drafting a blue-red deck just like ours, but he just didn't find his blue mana yet. Second Lock Dragon, okay, that's a different story. So hopefully he doesn't have all the removal in the world. I could just put out the Moonlit Scavengers as a body. It's not a bad idea. Yeah, we'll go for it. Nothing to bounce, but it's still a 4/5 that can attack quite nicely. And if he uses a removal spell on this, like a Serum Barrage, my Opportunistic Dragon can maybe stay alive. Could just be a mono red deck. I mean, seems like his deck is more conditioned to be blue-red spell, blue-red draw your card matters more than anything else. Doesn't discard, so he has a 6-drop. Inquisitive Puppet, okay, because he's planning to use this to chump block and scry. I guess I can always just steal it. Yeah, let's force him to exile it. And we could also just keep a Runaway together and Red Cap melee in case he tries something here. Could maybe play my island first in case he has removal for the Opportunistic Dragon. I'm going to force him to exile and make a 1/1 here. Okay, he doesn't, so I guess I'll play out the island. Let's move to attacks. Let's attack in for 4. And if the opponent tries some removal spell, we can always run away together, the Opportunistic Dragon and the Locked Dragon here. So we'll say go. Knew it. So now we're going to run away together, force him to recast. Then we can re-steal the puppet, and then end of turn we can red cap melee away the Locked Dragon. He's holding a slight pause. I could also just red cap melee it so he doesn't get the extra loot. I guess I can't. I mean, he's gonna get the extra loot, so that sucks, but I can at least kill it end of turn. We'll see what he plays here. He doesn't discard. Alright. I think it's fine using it. The Locked Dragon is scary enough. And there's no pump spells in red, so using a red cap melee now is fine, and I can always just ditch the island here. Oh, actually it's red, so I don't have to sacrifice land, so that's pretty nice. I could Dragon now, I could also just Eleonora, but I do want to kind of pressure him in the air, so let's play out the Opportunistic Dragon here. Maybe force him to sacrifice this or exile it. Okay. So that gets rid of the extra blocker. So it's kind of like a removal spell in a sense. But it's nice how we're clawing our back. We're just we managed to take out double Locked Dragon and still survive against double Scorching Dragonfire with this deck. So Runaway together does come in handy sometimes. But it's always good to have some diversity, at least like one so tiny, one Runaway together, because Runaway together is not always going to be at its best in every situation. Yeah, I guess the opponent's just running a mono red deck and was lucky enough to pick up those late Locked Dragons. Let's play out the Sir Eleonora. Could have kept up red. The auto tapper is not being kind to me today. But I'm definitely gonna keep the land it now since this also grows a Sir Eleanor, but I'm attacking with both creatures here. He could have, I guess, the pump trick with the Rimrock Knight. If he blocks the Wolverine, he could double block, use Rimrock Knight. Okay, I mean, I eventually need to bait out the removal spell. At least I can take out this 1/1. I think I'm keeping all of this in my hand. I don't really need to play out the Ember Shieldbreaker. Don't think this will accomplish much against the opponent. Right, the opponent also has Searing Barrage. Okay, good reason to be in mono red, I guess. Ooh, Royal Scions. Yeah, I like myself a Royal Scions. Why not?
I lead the way, but my brother knows.
Yep. Alright, 5-0. Not bad. Pretty powerful blue-red Izzet deck. Quite happy with this draft so far. Not gonna lie. And hopefully we can maybe get 7 wins and have another nice video for my channel. Alright, currently 5-0. Got back all of our gems. Got back 100 gems. Let's win the rest and maybe gain up to... I mean, this is a lot of gems. I guess 300... 600 gems if I... from where I previously started. I guess it's 715... Yeah, 22 minus 15 is 7, so 700 gems if I manage to get my 7 wins. Opening hand, Royal Scions on 3 is nice, but with 0 creatures, it is sketchy. However, we do have an opt to find one. We're on the draw, so I'm fine keeping. Hopefully he's not an aggressive opponent, but he is playing red. If I do have a Soul Tiny, I can use end of turn to maybe halt the progress. Probably better to just opt though. Don't need another island, we'll bond that. Scorching Dragonfire. So if I Scorching Dragonfire here, I can kill it. I don't really want to red cap melee. The Scorching Dragonfire can deal with something better. Maybe I just pass a turn. I can Soul Tiny on his turn. If he decides to attack. I could also just take 3. I don't mind the Soul Tiny. It's a good reason to just use it now. It's not going to be good until later. And I might as well use it on this creature. The only problem is that the Royal Scions are just going to take 1 hit per turn, which I don't really like. Okay, just pass. So now we can play out the Royal Scions and start looting. It's probably keeping up removal spells, but they can't answer Planeswalkers. So we're in decent shape.
By your side,
Oops.
I am always ready.
Let's cancel. Let's draw a card and discard, yeah.
What is my strategy here?
And now I can just keep growing this Royal Scion since the opponent didn't develop anything. He was probably holding on to a removal spell, I think. But now we're in decent shape. Next turn we can red cap kill like a Stalker, a Witch Stalker, and also develop the Tome Raider if possible. If he uses a pump spell, I'm quite happy here too. Yeah, I don't mind the pump spell. This Royal Scions will still be alive. Ooh, I guess you can target Planeswalkers. Nice. Do I play out the Opportunistic Dragon? Probably not. I think I like the Tome Raider here. He exiled it, so I can't get back with the clock, so that kind of sucks. I don't mind taking 1. I can always run away together with the Tome Raider and something else to redraw another card. Taking 1 is fine. The Opportunistic Dragon can maybe eat up the Garenbrig Paladin or Surkara. I guess I don't mind just Scorching Dragonfire it because I do maybe want my extra land for the Runaway Together. And the Opportunistic Dragon to protect it. So I don't mind this, just exiling it. And he does have another human I don't mind getting rid of. So this is fine. If I get a land, I can play out the Opportunistic Dragon, keep up Runaway. And that's also quite nice to have. Don't mind taking 1. Yeah, I don't really care about taking 1 here. And I hopefully get a land so I can protect my Opportunistic Dragon from removal. Alright, no lands. I could also just offer to trade. I could also just lock it down, even if he has removal. I mean, if he has removal, that won't be too good. I can maybe just offer to trade with the 2-1 and attack for 1 in the air. That can be okay. I don't need to necessarily play out my dragon into a removal spell. Because Steering Barrage on the Opportunistic Dragon would be quite bad, to be honest. But the 2-1 trading with the 3-2 is quite nice. Definitely going to trade here. End of turn we can always just use Searing Barrage on something. Like a Grumgoli. Or I can save the Searing Barrage. Never mind. I could also just use Runaway Together, hopefully get a land drop out of this. We can always do that next turn. Now the Opportunistic Dragon is nice. I guess I can still just run away together to get the extra card draw. Like, I'm in no hurry to really play out the Opportunistic Dragon. He might have another scary human I need to deal with. So maybe the runaway is fine here. And then I can replay the Tome Raider for value. I just want to draw more cards. So he's probably keeping up removal, I think. He is tapping his mana quite interestingly enough. I guess I don't mind just doing this now, since I also have an opt that can find me something. I guess that was a red creature, so that was good. I guess I don't mind the Steel Gaze Griffin. Keep up the opt. I guess the opt only trigger on my turn. Am I really greedy enough to want the extra damage to happen? I think I am. I'll play out the Steel Gaze Griffin and say go. I'll happily block with the 1/1. Probably has like a Bargain, I think, perhaps. You could have the Tree Folk to give this counters. Probably has a Tree Folk here, I think. Or a removal spell. Outmuscle. Yeah, Outmuscle will be quite unfortunate here. Okay, it's Tree Folk. So do I want to double block this? Double block will result in a trade. I guess I'll just opt first and see what he has. Throw the possibilities, not something I need, we'll just bottom. Ooh, Redcap melee. I guess I don't mind taking 5 here, and then we can use Redcap melee to kill the 5/2 next turn. Yeah, no blocks, we're fine. And I guess it's a good reason to now develop the dragon to pressure him. And we can save the Queen of Ice for something else. I could also just Redcap melee now. But we'll just pass and see. I think he's just going to play the Toonville Tree Folk. I think it's fine using Redcap melee now on the Mereleaf Rider. And if he has a Pump Trick, I can always just block the Mereleaf Rider here. Do I care about 1 damage? Not really. We'll take 1. He could be holding on to something. Or it could just be a bluff attack. Probably that was just a bluff attack, but I think I'm still fine. Ooh, let's not tap like that. Auto Tapper is just caught trying to make me lose this game, I think. Yeah, I'm not gonna tap like that. That's really bad. He could have his own red cap here, but we'll move to tax. Good game might be the fact that he might not have anything, so. Yep, we got this. Good game. He's even attacking the 1/1. Let's see. Let's have him pull the plug here. Yeah, he has a pump trick. Oh, he had one all along. Funny enough. Huh. Even the land to bounce if that creature still had a Soul Tiny in it. Okay, 6-0. Wow, this deck is definitely yeah, I'm happy with this draft. So make sure some of you out there who are always thinking about black-green, this is another pretty decent archetype to get yourself involved in. We're moving on to the final boss. I think we'll just do an overview of this deck before we proceed. So this is more like a blue-red control deck, more than a blue-red draw your card matters deck. I think the other version is also slightly more aggressive, but still kind of controlling in the sense where you're trying to leverage the payoffs for drawing cards like Improbable Alliance and Mad Ratter as the main win conditions, while trying to stabilize on the board or use other potential flyers to close out the game. Let's see. Unlike the normal version, again, we aren't too focused on drawing cards. We do have double opt and double thriller possibilities. That's for just fixing our opening hand, I guess, improving our draw steps and preventing flood for the most part. We don't have too many payoffs for the card draw. There's a Blood Haze Wolverine and Steel Gaze Griffin. There's another one on my sideboard, but I don't really want to go all in with the Blood Haze Wolverine plan. Otherwise, I'm drafting like a more aggressive deck. This variation is a lot more controlling with cards like Midnight Clock, which serve as a powerful win condition by getting all your resources back from your graveyard into your hand. Queen of Ice as a decent ground blocker, which has been surprisingly enough pretty good, just by preventing aggressive decks from coming across. We're also playing Quarter Monitor because it's a nice early game blocker, and 4 toughness is quite nice. We have a plethora of removal spells, Searing Barrage, Scorching Dragonfire, and Double Red Cap Melee. Also Charm Sleep serving as a excellent removal spell. Cards like Opportunistic Dragon can function as removal, but even if it doesn't take out anything, it's still a 4/3 flyer, which is quite fantastic. Probably the best flying card in this whole entire set. I mean, I guess Harmony's Archon might be, but red doesn't have many flyers, and it's nice to grant red a nice evasive threat that also has a nice upside. Overall, the MVPs of this draft currently are the Midnight Clock, I think the Royal Scions for sure, and Opportunistic Dragon, definitely doing a lot of work. But yeah, this variation is just looking to kind of slow down the opponent, win with the Midnight Clock, maybe protect our flyers to run away together, use the early game removal to halt them from trying to out aggro us, and then like even Royal Scions can serve as a win condition, since once it gets to 8, you can deal a lot of damage to the opponent's face and draw a bunch of cards. So yeah, I'm quite happy about this draft. We did an amazing. This deck is quite amazing. Has overperformed more than I initially expected. We would have been. I think with this archetype in the set appeals. The only controlling deck in this set, I guess, is more like blue-black, but somehow we just end up in red. But we still managed to make it work. We were seeing a lot of late So Tinies throughout the draft. The late Didn't Say Pleases throughout the draft. Even Merfolk Secret Keepers getting passed to us. But the fact was, black didn't seem particularly open, even though the black-blue archetype was open. So yeah, kind of glad that we settled into red for all these nice removal spells with the Double Red Cap Melee and Searing Barrage. First pick was the Royal Scions, so I wanted to definitely lean my way towards the blue-red deck, and we got rewarded. Although again, not in the typical red-blue deck that's looking to generate lots of fairies and lots of rats with a Mad Rat for. But we managed to still have a pretty strong deck overall. I'm just gonna take the snapshot here, and then hopefully we can get the final boss and go 7-0. We'll see. Also ranking up for my mythic. I remember starting at around 1,200, I think, for my mythic rank, and now I'm just climbing up to top 400, which I'm quite happy about too. But I didn't really expect this deck to go 6-0, to be honest. It felt more like, I don't know, maybe it has the potential to be 7-2, or maybe 6-2, but I didn't really expect it to be 7-0, given that black-green is a very powerful archetype with a lot of recursion, a lot of removal, a lot of life gain, and scary creatures. But sometimes you can just outvalue the opponents by with card advantage from the Scions, from the looting effects, Midnight Clock, and then help maybe tempo the opponent out with the freeze effects and bounce effects and win through the air. So let's see how we manage this final boss. We have So Tiny in the opening hand, Red Cap Melee, which I don't like. 2 5-drops, we're on the play. I don't really like this opening hand. I do need to get to turn 5 to get this going, so I don't really want to fire off a Red Cap Melee that early, otherwise it's going to put a halt to my land drops, so I think we mulligan. And I could ditch the red here, which I don't mind, so let's just do that. Let's leave of a mountain. And maybe Queen of Ice can tap something down, maybe we could shoot something down with the Ember of Shieldbreaker. Don't really want to play the Ember of Shieldbreaker. There's a lot of artifacts and enchantments, artifacts in white that I do want to destroy. I can always... Ooh, Midnight Clock? Midnight Clock seems pretty fun. I don't mind just taking 2, dropping the Midnight Clock, and then we can eventually leverage this with Sir Eleonora. We can ramp into Sir Eleonora. And the opponent does seem to be flooding out here. Getting mana screw, so we might just steal the game if we are quick enough. So happy to play out the Sir Eleonora to just draw a card and put a halt to both of these ground creatures. If he does play a land and attack, I don't think I block the Youthful Knight, because that could result in... he can't lock this down unless he has 2 extra mana to pay, since this costs 1 more. I can Moonlit Scavengers and maybe bounce to Flutterfox if he tries anything here. If he plays an artifact, I can shoot down with the Embereth Shield Breaker. So I don't mind just shooting down the Ginger Brute. That's a pretty aggressive attack. But I think I block. He could first strike here and use a trick. That's fine. Okay, could have a trick here. Or he didn't realize that you had to pay 2 more to target it. So now I could bounce the Flutterfox and just play my 6-drop. I could just Shield Breaker to 1/1. I don't mind bouncing here and just developing the board. I should attack first. That was a huge misplay, but I'm happy to just attack him for 4. Could have been 5, but I play out the land accidentally. But now, don't mind just playing out the Moonlit Scavengers, and I can bounce the Flutterfox for the turn to prevent 2 damage. The Ginger Brute can always, of course, gain unblockable, but I'm still fine with this. This does set him back quite nicely, and I'm being mana efficient too. And I can eventually just deploy my whole entire hand, and just, okay, Giant Killer, that's a good one. Guess I'll be taking 1. Weaselback Red Cap, sure. And I need to make sure I attack first just to get the extra damage. He's chumping? I'll be happy with a chump here. Okay, no chumps. Now the Embereth Shield Breaker seems good. I think I'll keep up mana for my removal spells or activate the clock. Don't necessarily need to use Queen of Ice on a 1/1. I'm fine just trading the 2/1 for it, and if he tries to use any shenanigans, here I'll just Scorching Dragonfire hit. The 2/1 lines up against this 1/1 quite nicely. I definitely want to also just kill the Giant Killer. Otherwise it's just going to keep tapping down my stuff, which I don't want. So I guess I'll Scorching Dragonfire it, end of turn. I'm wondering why he didn't do that main phase. Okay. That was quite odd. Alright, I guess I'm almost there. We'll just attack him for 3. Don't mind just tapping this and playing the Queen of Ice, to be honest. We don't necessarily need the red cap melee open. I'll keep the extra... I mean, I guess we have an extra land anyways on the battlefield, so... This is looking good. We will eventually refuel our hands, so... just gotta be patient here. The question is, do I fire off the red cap melee end of turn? Might just keep it in my hand for the main phase. Sure. Opponent doesn't have any artifacts. Guess I don't mind just attacking here. And I guess it'll be 12 next turn, so I might as well just fire off my removal spells while I can. So we'll lock down the Flutterfox. Red cap melee away the 1/2. And then we'll play out the mountain, and then next turn we will have the entire clock running. And we should be able to seal this game unless the opponent can do 14 damage out of nowhere, which I highly doubt he can. Hopefully he doesn't destroy this midnight clock. Alright. Managed to 7-0. Wow. Yeah. Blue-red control. There you have it. And this is my third 7-win video in a row. So definitely doing a lot of good progress with this. Did an overview of the deck already, so it was before this final boss. So if you're listening, you can just skip over back to the final boss, before the final boss, and I went through the video. But yeah, let's add this to our deck list and remember it, and now we can claim our prize. And let's pretend we are drafting Throne of Eldraine, pack 1, pick 1. What do we have the pleasure of opening?
I lead the way,
Ooh,
but my
well,
brother
we'll take
knows
another
the
Royal
path.
Scions. If Royal Scions was in this pack, it would be pretty interesting decision between Revenge of Ravens and Once in Future. Once in Future plays good in like a green mid-range deck, and it's pretty powerful, especially if you can cast it with Adamant. Although even if you don't cast it with Adamant, it's still pretty good since you are guaranteed to draw the good card in your deck. Obviously, Adamant's better since you don't miss a draw step, so to speak, and you could end up drawing the card that you would have drawn if you didn't cast it with Adamant. So Once in Future is pretty good, but Revenge of Ravens is definitely a solid card too in the black control deck. Black green, black blue. Don't really like this in black white unless you're sideboarding against another aggressive opponent. Revenge of Ravens is very good, but I mean it's not going to be at its best in all the situations and circumstances. That's why I kind of rate it a little bit lower, but it's still pretty solid against the aggressive decks. Once Revenge of Ravens comes down, it's pretty difficult to win as an aggressive opponent. That's why white is always. I mean that's why white is still a little bit bad in this set due to the fact that a single Revenge of Ravens can come down and just halt your entire win condition of going wide and attacking with small creatures. So yeah, Revenge of Ravens is the reason why white is a little bit worse in this set than usual, since white is again the aggressive knight color that you pair with either red or black. But it's not going to be as best against like a blue-black mill deck. It's not good against green decks since green have really large creatures that can that doesn't care about attacking once and you losing and having them lose one life and you gaining one life. So Revenge of Ravens is quite situational. Once in Future, again, not something you want to play in a green aggressive deck since you're looking to just develop the board as a red-green aggressive deck or a green-white Adventures Gold Wide game plan. So both of these cards are kind of close. I don't know, I'll probably take the Once in Future since getting 2 cards back from the graveyard is incredibly powerful, especially if you are getting a removal spell or a bomb back. But easy Royal Scions, draft a nice blue-red control deck, or just a normal blue-red draw your cards game plan, leveraging the improbable lines in Mad Ratters. So yep, easy Royal Scions. It's also nice to have a lot of collection in my Throne of Eldraine, so nice to have gems. Elite Headhunter, I've been kind of down on. I mean, I wouldn't mind playing this in the black-red Knights deck, but overall, like, the ability doesn't hit the face, which is quite bad, and the stat line is pretty poor for a 4-drop. Like, this easily gets blanked by a Fierce Witch Stalker. Like, it's fine utility if you need to, like, sacrifice something and finish off a creature, but it's still 1-for-1 at the end of the day, and this card's only good if you have a lot of creatures to sacrifice, which there aren't really a lot of creatures you really want to sacrifice in this set. There's not a lot of things that generate tokens in black-red, and most of the knights you really want to keep around to pressure the opponent, so to speak. But I mean, I guess it's alright against opposing knights decks, just sacrificing a creature that needs to sacrificing a small creature to get rid of like a youthful knight out of the way, since that has first strike. But overall, Elite Headhunter isn't really good. I'll take whatever rare or mythic is in this pack, but if I was to take a common, I would take a Merfolk Secret Keeper and maybe start drafting a blue controlling blue-black deck with mill synergy, since this card is a very important component of having a blue-black deck, so to speak, in the set. But usually, yeah, you can get there with a mill deck in this set, but you have to be very lucky getting stuff like Folio Fancies or Lockmere Serpents or other payoffs or a million Merfolk Secret Keepers, which could happen, but overall, blue is the weakest color, and this is really not an impressive common that you should take over something else like a Reef Soul or a Bacon to a Pie Pack 1 pick 1, or even Out Muscle. Nothing amazing. There's a Heroic Banner for the monocolored tribal decks. I mean, the monocolored decks, which is a thing in the set. You can go mono white, mono green, mono black, whatever. Mono red, I think, is the strongest because you could open up Thorbrand, which rewards you for being mono red. But overall, yeah, not very exciting pack. There's a Sage of the Fall, sort of red-blue, draw your cards matter deck. So this is a nice enabler for the red-blue deck. It's also pretty decent in blue-green, since blue-green also has a lot of decent non-humans going on. But Sage of the Falls is okay. Haven't been too impressed by it, but it's fine. It's a decent blocker. Plays well in blue-red, especially since you're generating fairies, which count as non-humans from the Improbable Alliance, so you can trigger this again. But yeah, nothing amazing. Don't really like this pack at all. Alright, it's either Surkara or Fierce Witch Stalker. I mean, both of these cards are kind of close, I hate to say it. Green is just such a powerful color in this set that I could just start with Fierce Witch Stalker. Like a 4-mana 4/4 trample is a very good body. And the fact that it generates food is also very good. Surkara is very good too, since it can be a nice value engine for the any red deck in the late game, even red-blue. It's also a knight for knight synergies. But it's still like a 5-mana 3/3 body, so that isn't very impressive. But if you're already drafting knights or a red deck, Surkara could be pretty good as a nice late-game curve topper that can help you gain card advantage by pinging the opponent for 1, as you saw from this draft. There was one game where I managed to draw like 4 cards with Surkara off the top with a Midnight Clock that managed to finish the 12th hour, so to speak. But yeah, I mean, it's close, but maybe Fierce Witch Stalker, given that green is too good in this set. Like, yeah, this is just insane. You generated food, so it's also good in green black. It's really good in green red, non-humans. It's really good without muscle. It can it's a pretty scary threat that the opponent has to answer right away. Otherwise, like, even if they have a million chump blockers, you'll eventually trample over. So I would probably take Fierce Witch Stalker over Surkara just for color preferences, but both cards are excellent. Alright, this is a choice between Bacon to a Pie and Edgewall Innkeeper. Edgewall Innkeeper has a lot of upside. Like, the fact that this can eat a premium removal spell and it can get out of hand. If you draft enough adventurous creatures, might actually make it better than Bacon to a Pie. Bacon to a Pie is a very strong, solid first pick, though. Nice 1-for-1. Like, 4 mana, destroy any target creature at instant speed, and generating a food token is it's just not asking for much, you know. It's good by itself. I would definitely take both of these over the Marrowleaf Pixie. Edgewall Innkeeper is really impressive, though I think it shines as best in a green-white Adventures deck, since that's more of the Adventures archetype, but it's still very good and outside of it, since there's a lot of adventure creatures in all the other colors, even blue-green, white-green obviously, red-green has the Rimrock Knights, black-green has like Rosethorn Acolytes, maybe the Falmir Knight. Yeah, Edgewall Innkeeper could just be the first pick over the Bacon to a Pie, given that it has a lot more upside, I think. But Bacon to a Pie would be a solid first pick, since black is, I would count maybe black like slightly worse than green, but it's still one of the top colors in this set. I would rank it green, black, then red, then white, and then blue, for sure. But black is also a very exciting, strong color to be in this set. But probably just take the Edgewall Innkeeper. Been very impressed by that card. Okay, we finally didn't get gems, so we opened up a nice rare mythic. I guess it's just a wild card. Yeah, easy Edgewall Innkeeper. A card that I also like a lot is the Fairy Guide Mutter for white aggressive decks. I'm happy to play this, obviously, in a deck with Edgewall Innkeeper, but still pretty nice, like in the White-Green Adventures or White Knights deck, since you can give a creature flying. It can also, giving a creature flying also releases them from the Trapped in the Tower card. The enchantment-based removal for 3 mana, 2 generic and 1 white, which causes targets non-flying creature to not attack or block or activate abilities. The Fairy Guide Mutter can give flying to a creature, and the enchantment can fall off. So this is a pretty decent card too. Youthful Knight is a solid 2-drop in any white deck for Knight synergies, but easy Edgewall Innkeeper. So there you have it, another nice 7-win video. I could just do another Throne of Eldraine and hopefully get another 7 again to add to my YouTube channel. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, you need help with draft, just hit me up on my channel, whatnot, and I can assist you guys on Discord or something. So yeah, have a wonderful day, guys, and take care.